I saw this image recently of one of these massive ships laying a subsea cable on the ocean floor.
Hmm.
And it really made me stop and think. We always talk about the cloud, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just up there somewhere.
Or it sounds so abstract.
Exactly. But it's actually these physical pipes, these incredibly tough glass fibers carrying everything. And then you hear something like AWS's current network could stretch to the moon and back more than 11 times.
It's mind-boggling scale.
It really is. So it makes you ask, what's the next huge step? How do we keep building this global connection?
Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. We're focusing on AWS's FastNet Transatlantic subsea cable. It's a really significant project set to go live around 2028. Our mission here is to unpack it, the tech, the sheer capacity, and why this specific route is so strategically important, especially now with, generative AI and everything demanding so much more.
Okay, let's unpack that route. It's connecting Maryland in the U.S. and County Cork in Ireland. I mean, there are already cables crossing the Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
Lots of them.
There are, yes.
So why build a whole new dedicated system? Why this specific path? What's the real advantage?
Yeah, that's the core idea. It's about diversity and resilience. See, a lot of the existing cables tend to follow similar paths, landing in the same general areas.
Okay, so they share vulnerabilities.
Exactly. If something happens in one of those corridors, maybe a ship anchor, maybe an undersea event, it can potentially affect multiple cables at once. FastNet deliberately uses completely different landing points. It avoids those traditional routes.
Oh, so it's building a backup lane, basically, a totally separate one.
Precisely. For critical stuff, like these huge AI models that need constant, reliable connections between, say, US and European data centers, or just massive cloud traffic, this diversity means much lower risk of disruption, and it ensures that lower latency connection is always there. It's about guaranteeing connectivity.
Got it. So resilience is key, not just adding more lanes to the same highway. But let's talk about the size of this new highway, because the numbers, they're pretty staggering.
Oh, they absolutely are. The design capacity for FastNet is over 320 terabits per second. Tbps.
320 Tbps, that sounds like a lot, but what does that actually mean? Can you put that in perspective?
Okay, get this. That's enough bandwidth to stream about 12.5 million HD movies, all at the same time.
Wow, okay.
Or, another way to think about it, you could send the entire digitized collection of the Library of Congress across that cable 3 times, every single second.
That's clearly not just for checking email. That kind of capacity sounds like it's built for something much bigger, like the AI boom we're seeing.
That's exactly right. This is very much forward-looking infrastructure. They're anticipating massive growth. And the technology inside is pretty sophisticated, too. They're using something called advanced optical switching branching units.
Okay, what does that do?
Sounds complicated. Well, think of it like really smart traffic controllers deep underwater. It lets AWS reconfigure how data flows, shift huge amounts of traffic around instantly if needed, all without having to physically mess with the cable on the seafloor. It makes the system adaptable for future needs, especially handling those unpredictable AI workloads.
And flexible.
And flexible, yes. Plus, there's security. Near the shore, where things like fishing gear or anchors are a risk, the cable has heavy armoring layers of steel wire wrapped around it for protection.
Right, you have to protect that investment. The sheer scale of infrastructure needed to manage all this, especially with AI demands just exploding, it really highlights something. Organizations are going to need help actually using all this capability effectively. Which brings us to our sponsor, Embersilk. If your business is looking at AI, maybe training models, automating processes, integrating new tools, or just figuring out where AI agents could even make a difference, they can help. Check them out at embersilk.com for your AI needs.
So, moving beyond the tech specs, what's the bigger picture here? What does putting this specific high-resilience cable between Maryland and Ireland mean strategically for the economy, for the regions?
Well, it's seen as a major strategic asset on both sides. It's designed really to be a super reliable, low latency backbone for things like generative AI, yes, but also cloud applications, international business, finance. You heard leaders talking about this. The Taoiseach in Ireland, Michael Martin, he called it a vote of confidence in Ireland's digital future. He said it makes County Cork a true gateway to Europe.
And in the U.S., Governor Wes Moore in Maryland framed it similarly, saying it helps secure Maryland's status as a global hub for innovation. So it's seen as really foundational infrastructure.
It sounds like a big commitment, not just financially, but geopolitically.
It definitely is. And interestingly, that commitment also extends locally. AWS is setting up community benefit funds in both Maryland on the Eastern Shore and in County Cork.
Oh, what kind of funds?
The idea is to support local projects, things driven by the community itself. They mentioned focusing on areas like sustainability, environmental initiatives, and STEM education, which is critical.
That's good to hear. Investing back into the communities where this infrastructure lands.
Yeah, it seems to be part of the plan. You know, stepping back, here's maybe a final thought to consider. AWS is building this massive 320 Tbps pipe, specifically mentioning future AI and cloud needs, and it's coming online in 2028. So if that's the capacity they think they need just a few years from now, what does that really tell us about the sheer scale, the rate of growth we should probably expect in data in AI compute in the next, say, 5 years, and what kind of even more advanced infrastructure might be needed after that? It's quite something to think about.
It really is. What an incredible feat of engineering and foresight. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive. If you enjoyed it, please do subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, if you have a moment, leaving a 5-star review really helps other curious folks find us. Thanks so much for tuning in.